Today's webinar will consist of 4 distinct parts. The first one will be a very brief introduction about Inspiralia, will be about 2 to 5 minutes. Then there will be a longer section on the Horizon 2020 European Funding Program, and in particular for opportunities for SMEs. That will be about 15 to 20 minutes, in which we'll touch upon the timelines and conditions, the topics that are possible to apply, and the evaluation process. Then we'll be talking about how to work with Inspiralia and how SMEs can work with us in a win-win scenario. This will be about 5 to 10 minutes, and last, we will be giving a few tips for success under the Horizon 2020, and this section will be about 5 to 10 minutes. I hope you enjoy it. We are going to proceed to introduce Inspiralia for the next few minutes. In order to understand Inspiralia origin, we need to briefly mention PIRA. PIRA stands for Process Engineering Research Association. PIRA is a large company established by Winston Churchill at the end of the Second World War, with the mission of help revive the industrial base of the north of England. Was one of the pioneers in the concept of open innovation, that is, developing technology for clients without itself keeping any intellectual property or ownership of the company. Just develop technology for all the clients in the benefit exclusively for the clients. PIRA created Inspiralia in 2005 as it expanded throughout Europe. Its primary markets were Spain, Italy, and France, and since then we worked throughout Europe. In 2012 we became 2 different companies, although we still work closely together. What Inspiralia do? In essence, we are new product developers, mostly for SMEs, bring the ideas or existing technology to new products that have a gap in the market, and help to introduce the technology into the marketplace. We are 60 staff between engineers, scientists, and consultants. Most of us have international experience. About a third of the staff are non-Spanish, as well as about a third of the staff are doctors and 2/3 have master degrees. All the rest have an advanced degree. We have 2 sites. The central offices are in Madrid, as well as the computer simulation and advanced material laboratories. We have a commercial office in the north of Spain, as well as having the electronics engineering laboratories. Now, as you see, our turnover is 7 million euros, and since our inception, we have suffered a growth of about 35%. We work throughout Europe, and we have collaborators in Italy, France, Germany, Israel, and Ireland. In fact, more than 50% of our clients are outside Spain. If I was to define what is Inspiralia's biggest asset, without a doubt, that would be our staff. We have a highly qualified staff. Just in experience related to bringing applied science to the marketplace, we have more than a combined experience of 3 centuries, and that's the experience that we have at the service of our clients. We have almost 2 centuries of experience in advanced materials and chemistry. We have almost a century of experience in different aspects of computer aid, simulation, and design, and we have about 2/3 of experience in engineering and electronics. We now proceed to the center of gravity of this webinar. This is the part where we are going to describe the European funding program Horizon 2020. That is the continuation of the 7th Framework Program that ran from 2005 to 2013. And this new program, instead of calling it the 8th Framework Program, they've chosen to call it Horizon 2020. Our mission today is not to talk at length of every single aspect of Horizon 2020. We are going to focus on the funding opportunities for SMEs. This information will help to provide a context for the development of applications by SMEs and their partners seeking support for their transnational projects, and highlight the need to be able to demonstrate the link and impact between their own development plans and the stated priorities and challenges being addressed by Europe. As part of the combined attempt by the European member states to move beyond the economic crisis that began in 2007 and 2008 to create the conditions for a more competitive economy with higher employment, it has produced a growth strategy, Europe 2020, designed to help Europe become a smart, sustainable, and inclusive economy. The strategies focus on five ambitious goals or objectives in the areas of employment, innovation, education, social inclusion, and climate and energy, to be reached by 2020. Europe have identified SMEs as a significant engine to create growth. They have also noted that SMEs that are internationally active report higher employment growth than non-active SMEs. There is a strong relationship between internationalization and innovation. Being internationally active is strongly related to higher turnover growth. But internationally oriented SMEs are not universally aware of relevant support programs, so the SME instrument attempts to address their financial needs in developing high risk and high potential innovation ideas. Innovation thrives over all other policies, so it's extremely important to the future of Europe to speed up and improve the way we conceive, develop, produce, and access new products, industrial processes, and services. It is seen as not only the key to creating more jobs, building a greener society, and improving our quality of life, but also to maintaining our competitiveness on the global market. To achieve it, Europe has Horizon 2020, a financial tool to help address the challenges I've already talked about. Europe 2020 is not just about overcoming the economic crisis, but trying to create conditions for growth that are smarter, more sustainable, and more inclusive. The SME instrument is intended to address all types of innovative SMEs so as to be able to promote the development of positive examples or growth champions in all sectors. Only SMEs will be able to apply for funding. Even single company support will be possible if the project has a clearly described European dimension. It's intended that SMEs will be in the driving seat to choose cooperation partners and to organize an innovation project in a flexible way, including substantial subcontracting. It's designed to be competitive and business oriented, to give it credibility with the target market of SMEs. It will promote only those projects with a good chance to be commercially successful and able to use involvement as a quality label to raise private equity incentives for leverage of private co-investor or follow-up investments, thereby ensuring successful commercialization of research results and innovation ideas. This scheme will be able to support small projects bottom-up within the pillars of the societal challenges and industrial technologies. All kinds of promising ideas, notably cross-sector and interdisciplinary projects, will be able to be funded. This is intended to include innovation in services, new business models, and novel design, which is often linked to the development of a new technology, making it more user-friendly and accessible. The criteria will require excellence in innovation, a strong focus on economic impact, and the company's demonstrable potential to achieve the expected results as well as European added value. The innovation must be mature enough to be able to reach real market conditions after the project execution, and in order to measure the readiness to market, the technology readiness level scale is used. For innovations other than in the ICT sector, the minimum technology readiness level or TRL is 6. That means that the technology is on a prototype or demonstration stage. The applicants will have to credibly demonstrate that the project intends to develop something new in Europe, that it addresses union-wide challenges and European and/or global markets. Support is intended to promote progress from the idea or concept through to commercialization in 3 stages that the process involves. I reckon this is probably the most important slide of the whole presentation, so if you are going to take home just one slide, please let that be this one. It summarizes the entirety of the SME instrument. It is composed of 3 different phases. The first 2 are funded, the third one is not, so we'll be focusing more on the first 2. It all starts with a proposal for the phase 1 call, which is also a concept and feasibility assessment. In phase 1, concept and feasibility assessment, SMEs will receive funding to explore the scientific or technical feasibility and the commercial potential of a new idea, proof of concept, in order to develop an innovation project. The outcome of this phase will be a meaningful business innovation plan, reflecting achievements and the intended route to exploitation. In this plan, you describe your idea with the potential market and the innovation that is required to bring that product into market. If the proposal is retained for funding, then it will go to phase 2, for which you have approximately 3 to 6 months to develop a phase 2 proposal. You are given a €50,000 funding from the European Commission to develop phase 2 proposal, which is a much more elaborated business plan. Those SMEs applicants that have a positively reviewed feasibility report or business innovation plan should be able to access grants to develop their innovation project. This can include some research, but the focus will be on innovation activities such as demonstration, testing, prototyping, piloting products or services, scale-up studies, miniaturization, design, performance verification, etc., and market readiness. At the end of phase 2, participating companies should have developed a new idea, product, process, or service that can be deployed and launched on the market. The business innovation plan that will be developed by the end of phase 2 will be required to contain a detailed marketing and commercialization strategy and a financing plan describing how private investment will be used. The European contribution in the form of a grant could be around €1 to €3 million. A funding rate of 70% will be applied. This funding is non-refundable and gives a positive cash flow to the SME throughout the project. The duration should be on average 12 months, but could be longer if required and justified by the SME. 3 evaluators will cover scientific, technological, and innovation expertise, as well as market knowledge and business experience and skills. Only high-quality projects will be funded. Now, this is an example of a Phase 1 proposal that we are currently preparing for the first call happening on the 18th of June. The proposal contents must follow the guidelines set by the European Commission, and it is crucial that the contents reach the specific level of information to score positive. Scores must be in the range of 0 to 5, and the criterion must address the impact, the excellence, and the implementation of the proposed technology. The threshold for each section is 4, and at least one of the criterion has to score 5. This means the proposals that are going to pass the evaluation need considerable amount of preparation in terms of market knowledge, risk assessment, technology watch, IPR, and more. At Inspiralia, we are leaders in winning projects for our clients. The key is our dedication and knowledge. For example, it takes 3 weeks of intensive work of a team of experts to configure a winner proposal. We not only cover every aspect of the business plan, such as a market demand, customer needs, competitor analysis, expected growth after implementation, relevant resources needed to develop the innovation and technical activities, but we are ahead of the game because we have the advantage of having been here for over 9 years. Let's talk about the funding and the topics. The SME instrument is part of the Horizon 2020 thematic priorities. This seminar today focuses more on the energy and environment theme and the information and communication technologies. Overall, you have over €251 million distributed into 13 topics, and the key here is that you have a budget allocation per year, and that needs to be spent. In 2014, the topic of energy that stimulates the innovation potential of SMEs for a low-carbon and efficient energy system has almost €40 million allocated to it, and this works out more or less that 67 projects are going to be funded in Phase 1, and on average, you expect to have funded 20 in Phase 2. This is on the energy topic, the purple section. Under the topic of ICT, the early stage, high risk, innovative SMEs are welcome to develop disruptive innovation technologies. On average, in this topic, there are 30 projects that will be retained for funding this year. There are other topics for innovation aimed at addressing European challenges, such as biotechnology, environment, nanomaterials, biomarkers, etc. Now we are going to proceed to discuss the budget distribution for a Phase 2 European project. The SME instrument is in fact part of this innovation funding level at 70%. And that means that 70% of the cost of the SME can be charged to the project and be funded by the European Commission. But the SME also can apply an overhead rate of 25%, so for each 100 euros of cost, in fact, the eligible cost will be 125, and the funding received will be 70% of 125. That's something very important to understand for cash-strapped SMEs. If we consider an example of 1 million euros total project budget and we get 70% funding for our project, the direct costs or eligible costs of this project are 700,000 euros. The differential of 30% has to be justified in time and resources from the SME. Let's say in this example the SME needs to subcontract 300,000 euros to acquire missing competencies, and this subcontract is covered in 100% by the European Commission. Then the company cash is 400,000 euros. Regarding the subcontracting, there are no rules in the amount, and it will all depend on the internal capabilities that the SME requires for the optimal output of the project. As we said before, the European Commission allows 25% of indirect costs per euro funded that you do not need to justify in the total cost of the project. Then, 25% of 700k are allowed and don't need justification in kind, meaning that 140k are exempt or of justification to the European Commission. The 300k minus 140k equals 160k. That is your in-kind contribution, the amount the SME needs to put from their own resources to the project budget. I hope it got clear. Let's now talk about the open calls. In 2014, we have 4 cutoff dates. For Phase 1, we've got 3 cutoff dates on the 18th of June, the 24th of September, and the 17th of December. Exceptionally this year, we can go directly for Phase 2 on the 9th of October, with elaborated business plans that have clearly proved their feasibility technically and commercially, and don't need to go through Phase 1. Otherwise, it is preferred that all projects go through Phase 1 and follow the normal screening explained by the following slide. Touching the timings a little more, what Europe wants is for companies to take their ideas and go to a Phase 1 proposal and a Phase 1 cutoff date. So the first one will be on the 18th of June. We expect an answer in 2-3 months, and you can expect your grant agreement by September to develop your Phase 1 feasibility study, that is, a Phase 2 proposal. The European Commission estimates a time of 3 to 6 months for the preparation of a Phase 2 proposal, and these proposals will target the 17th of December Phase 2 cutoff. In terms of getting the Phase 2 proposal evaluated and an answer given, negotiations with the Commission and final grant agreement and start for the Phase 2 project, you can expect that to be in May 2015. Because it takes in Spiralia at least 3 weeks for the preparation of a high-quality Phase 1 proposal, there is no time for you to submit in June. However, you can submit to the September cutoff date, and the timing expected is March next year to present Phase 2 proposal and then to start the project execution by August 2015. It looks like a long time, and it may seem that you have time until September, but believe you me, if you don't start preparing now, then the funding will never come. There is an exception this year. being that the first Phase 2 cutoff date in October is too soon to go through the Phase 1 procedure, so this call is a special one where the Commission will be receiving direct Phase 2 proposals that have not gone through the Phase 1 procedures, and hence they haven't received the €50,000 funding to develop the Phase 2 proposal. They are those companies that can afford to develop the proposal entirely on their own funds and that can access this 9th of October Phase 2 cutoff date, and they can expect their project to start in early March 2015. And now, I will spend the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes briefly discussing how we work with our clients. And basically, we offer a 360 degrees service. This is from the very start of talking to a client who might have a problem and they are looking for a new technology to solve that problem, or they could have an existing technology that they want to improve so that it has a better fit into the market. So we are going from the very beginning of the idea evaluation, idea conceptualization, all the way to developing a product and helping the company bring a product to the market. And in between, we are talking about generating a concept, developing a business plan for that concept, looking for different means of financial support, writing proposals, and normally in a European dimension. So, for European calls, it means winning that support, developing the research into applied science and product generation, and then helping molding that prototype pilot product into real-life market product. As we are talking in today's webinar about the Horizon 2020, let's focus more on our success rate in finding funding by European programs. So, on the 7th Framework Program, we are talking about an European average success rate of 18% for the capacities call, as a call related to SMEs. This 18% includes both starters and experts, and our success rate was more than 40% on the last call. Because of the high success rate, we have high numbers in the last 4 years. We have executed almost 70 transnational projects at Inspiralia, and we currently have 36 projects on the go. On the 7th Framework Program, the Capacities Research for SMEs, projects ended up at a prototype stage, and there was a smaller funded call, the so-called demo project, to bring that prototype into the market. And here we were pioneers in Europe in terms of winning funding for demo projects, and we had 5 projects funded out of 50 throughout the whole of Europe. We are international by nature. We have about 250 industrial partners throughout Europe and almost 90 signed contracts with the best European R&D organizations throughout Europe. As a summary of the numbers all over the FP7, not just the last call, we are talking about 149 proposals written and presented by Inspiralia. Almost 70 were funded, and we won almost 80 million euros for our clients to develop new technology. So we are not only a consultancy that looks for funding. We offer this 360 service including finding funding, but importantly, forming a long-term partnership with our client from idea generation through finding funding, through developing a technology and helping them launching that technology to the marketplace. As technology developers, we are strong in 3 areas. We are strong in chemistry, all the way from sensors to biopolymers. We are strong in computational engineering and simulation and industrial design, structural modeling and thermal simulation. And very interestingly, we provide a very valuable service in predicting the cost, the performance of a prototype and to scale it up and down. We are strong in electronics and software, hardware, software, the communication in between, different protocols for different technologies, being able to cross-talk, and intelligent systems. These are all areas we have extensive experience. But of course, we are not just a research center. We are focused on the market, and hence the company is divided into 3 market units: industry, health and well-being, and the one pertaining to today's webinar, the energy unit. These are the 36 projects that we have ongoing at the moment, and the ones on the left are the ones under the Energy Market Unit. Important to say, every project has a budget of between 1.5 to 2.5 million euros, all of them with at least 5 partners, 3 or more SMEs, and 2 or more research centers involved in taking this applied science into new technology, new prototypes into new products. I don't have time today to go through these 36 projects, but I want to give you a flavor of the things we do related to energy. Here is a 3-year project involved in solar thermal, and the aim is to develop a solar thermal technology to make it more efficient and lower the cost of the current vacuum tubes using this technology. Regarding wind energy, this project is trying to solve a known problem, which is icing on the blades in northern cold climates, by developing an ultra-efficient integrated de-icing control system. We've also got experience in working for companies involved in the biomass areas. So this project is a combination of an open pond and closed pond algae cultivation. And we are helping the algae section, the control systems, and designing the actual prototype pilot plant that you can see there. We also got experience on the energy efficiency side of things. This project is trying to design and develop and produce new types of window frames that are more efficient than the current technology. This is a project on rotational molding to help improve the energy efficiency of this industrial process. As we all work throughout Europe, we have a wide range of collaborators. As I mentioned before, 250 SME clients, a few dozen industrial associations, almost 90 research associations that have signed contracts with us. This means that if we ourselves don't have the expertise to help the client, we almost certainly know the right science institute in Europe that can help the SME develop that technology. Because of our funding success rate, we work with many regional and national bodies in different countries throughout Europe that want us to work with their SMEs to help them get involved in European programs, get funding through Europe, help them develop and ultimately create new jobs. All the areas that the energy topic includes, we offer significant expertise. We are particularly strong on energy efficiency, on renewables, and on alternative fuels. We have got extensive experience of previous projects. We are working with various SMEs on these topics. We have experience helping in the ICT field and on EU smart grid and on energy storage. In all, for the European Horizon 2020, we cover Phase 1 preparation, Phase 2 preparation, technology development, and project management. Let's talk now about the secrets for success in the SME instrument. It is very important to understand what the European Commission is looking for, what is the evaluation criteria, what the external evaluators will be judging in each of your proposals. First of all, the proposed idea business plan makes sense, and there is a market you are addressing. There is someone who is willing to buy what you are going to develop. Secondly, there needs to be an innovation component. Your technology solution needs to be, in one way or another, better or an improvement of an existing technology. Third, it's important that the company has realistic prospects of developing and exploiting the technology. That could be themselves by having strong potential or by having strong partners in the consortium. It is important to emphasize that this is an applied science market-oriented funding program. The way Europe has devised to evaluate this closeness to market is by making use of a Technology Readiness Level Scale (TRL), developed by NASA to evaluate in which stage of development their ideas were. A TRL of about 1, this is a basic idea, all the way up to a TRL 9, which is when that product reaches the market. In between, you have that idea development into commercial prototype, prototype to a pilot scale, and the pilot scale taken up to a product, and then this product being tested into different relevant environments until it gets closer and closer to the market. The SME instrument is looking at technologies that are TRL of 6 and aims at accelerating the TRL to 7 or 8. Target companies are innovative SMEs that are looking to develop new products, that are innovative, that are capable of developing new ideas and taking these ideas into the market. The SME instrument is to fund the very best companies, must have relevant technical capabilities. Of course, they can join other companies in a consortium that have complementary expertise, but they must be able to develop some part of the technology. It is not a funding program where the SME takes a side road and subcontracts all the work. The idea must be important for the SME, and the SME must be putting in time and effort to develop the technology. Related to what I just said, is not a side project. It must be the company committed to the development of the idea. And they must provide a convincing case that the company can bring the innovation to the marketplace. And the market must be international, even though maybe as a starting point it could be just one country, but as part of the exploitation plan there must be a transnational aspect included. So in conclusion, what the European Commission wants is for the applicant SMEs to be leading players. The second secret to success, as well as being a good company, that good company must bring a good idea. A good idea means that it should be innovative. After all, H2020 is a funding program for research and innovation. In an applied science market-oriented funding program, it should have a strong market potential, demonstrate a key selling point, a key competitive advantage with respect to the market, and it must not be just a basic idea. Some previous investment must have taken place, and it must have European significance. And lastly, it must fit into one of the SME instrument topics, or it won't be funded. In combination, what's the secret of success? You must have an innovative, good company with an excellent idea that is clearly strategic for the business. To start working together with our clients, we always begin our relationship by listening to your idea's prior signature of a non-disclosure agreement to protect the privacy of your idea. We prefer to meet you face to face and get to the details of both your company and the innovative technology that you want to take to Europe for funding. However, if that is not possible, we can have a conf call or via Skype and understand whether it could fit in the SME instrument and what improvements could be considered to ensure the project to be financed. After we have validated the idea with you and our team of experts, we produce a concise summary of what the conclusion of our validation is, and then your idea is prepared to go to phase 1. When you agree on what is proposed in the previous steps, we both sign a formal agreement by which Inspiralia starts writing the proposal and the client will supervise and collaborate during the whole process. And the final step of this phase 1 is to submit the proposal before the deadline or cut-off date, which the earliest one is on the 24th of September. You might be wondering, where do Inspiralia make their business? Let me explain this a little bit further. Our fees for the rating depend on how close we are to the cut-off dates. In 2014 and 2015, There will be cut-off dates every 4 months to present Phase 1 proposals. That means that the closer we are to a cut-off date, the busier we get. And since our team of writers need to organize themselves throughout the year, we encourage early bird with a gradually reduced price to move the writing away from the deadline. So as you can see on the slide, 4 months from the cut-off date to write a proposal, it will cost €7,000, and 1 month before the cut-off date, it will be 10. In terms of the writing, we co-finance the writing with our clients because the core business of our company is to develop the final products for our clients, not the writing. The writing is just the means to obtain the ticket to develop technology for our clients. If you look at our turnover last year, that is €7 million. You will notice that €10,000 does not cover 3 weeks of our work, and that explains why we only write the proposals we see with a great potential, and those in which we can develop our technical capabilities once the project gets funded by the European Commission. The technical tasks that Inspiralia will develop in each project depend on the specific projects, on our clients' competencies, and on our capabilities. Of course, you can write your own proposals, but we are leaders in finding funding, and we would like to work with you and become leaders of this European Champions League. And with that, I would like to thank you all for your attention. Hope you all could hear me clearly. Now is your turn for questions. You can use the chat, and now it's over to you. Thank you very much.